I'll just lead into talk about Mark. Mark at Sheridan Mentoring, Mark's been with me for a long time, since the beginning, and he's the one person who kind of really focuses on futures options. It's a good focus. I think there's some good compelling reasons to do futures options. I think there's some advantages to do futures options over stock and index. It's cheaper margin-wise, cheaper capital-wise, and Mark will talk about that. But I think what Mark's going to do is share some of the successful strategies he's been doing over the last 5 to 10 years, and some of the different products he can. Again, he's going to share with you how he looks at these markets, what has worked for him, what strategies, what risk management, because the strategy doesn't matter. Any yo-yo can tell you, since yo-yo is my word for
that's
today.
The word of the day, yes.
Iron condor. But,
yeah.
That's like saying any gun. If you don't know how to use the gun or the iron condor, it doesn't matter. Why am I using gun analogy?
Flawless analogy.
I don't know. But the point is, Mark's going to share with you in this futures class. It's going to be a 2-week class. It's going to go twice a week for 2 weeks, hour each class.
You get it.
And what's the cost on this?
$197.
$20,000.
$20,000.
All right, so there's a big debate. I thought it should be worth $20,000. Johnny put it.
We had
at
a little disconnect there.
So I think that's a good value. Something that Dan thinks is $20,000. We're going for $197.
We had a little disconnect there. It's fine.
A little disconnect.
It's
and
fine.
So $197. It'll be starting when?
It'll be Wednesday the 23rd.
Wednesday the 23rd. And I think it'll be again, all our classes will be practical. This is going to be how he trades these. What are some strategies that he thinks are good, that he's been using.
Yeah, not theory here. We're talking actual practical.
Actual stuff that he's been doing. And he'll put on a couple live trades for you, show you how to do it, show you the different nuances of these markets. And some of the important things are how option volatility works. It works differently in futures options than it does in stock options. And so I think it's a great time to learn about futures options, especially with the market down 10% or so, because some of these commodity products you're diversifying. They're truly a way. Bonds don't move lock and sync with the stock market. Oil doesn't move lock and sync. So I think by having some trades on in some other vehicles gives you diversification. So let's throw it over to Mark. Is from the beautiful Show Me State, beautiful Missouri.
All
right,
Marky Mark.
Everybody, as Dan said, I've been doing these strategies for about 7 years, more of the core strategies that I've been doing in the futures market. I've been mentoring for Sheridan Mentoring now for years. But I have been, my best trade over the last 7 years over time has been the 30-year Treasury bond options. I do some trades in that. We're going to, of course, cover that, what I think about before I get in it, what I'm thinking about while I'm in it, how I protect myself, profit targets. We're going to do some of those live. Then there's other things I've traded. The ES, we're going to look at that, the E-mini. We're going to explore, right off the bat, why we'd even trade futures at all. Things like leverage that Dan talked about, things about hours that the market's open. So all those things are going into that. We'll talk about the bonds. We'll talk about ES. We'll talk some about oil, gold, different futures that you can learn about and trade, and how I trade them, and watch me trade at least some of those live. Certainly we'll put on a bond trade together, and probably the first day, and then follow it on through the class together.
Awesome.
Talk about execution and all those important things all the steps you need to know, to get ready to trade futures. And once you're in them, because they're not the same as indexes or certainly stocks. Mm-hmm. They have their own things that move them. We'll talk about what reports move them, what kind of, what effect the world has on the different futures. And so there's a lot of information there. And what it's going to do is give you can diversify into. If you choose, you wouldn't have to just do stocks, not just indexes. You could do futures, different instruments in the futures that you could broaden your horizons and many times hedge yourself somewhat. We'll talk about that too with what you're doing over on the stock side. So I think you'll get a lot out of it. And yes, as Dan brought up, probably maybe one of the later classes I'll bring in. I can think of one successful futures trader I might bring in. I believe he trades oil. Probably have him come in and talk about what he does, maybe the last class or something. But And you'll get a lot out of this class. There's going to be a lot of content, a lot of live hands-on type of trading. It won't just be theory. Those of you who've been around a class that I teach, I'm not real strong a lot of times in the theory. I'm more into hands-on nuts and
Practical.
bolts
Yeah.
mechanics. And I think that you'll find that and you'll enjoy the class.
Excellent, excellent. We got a couple questions here, Mark. Let's start with just to echo again. The class is only $197 for that 2-week class. It was supposed to be $20,000, but thankfully it's only going to be $197. Mark Guest 2895 says, "Do the SPX, NDX, and RUT futures also give 1256 contract tax advantage? How about bonds, oil futures?"
The futures do not trade any of the ones he listed. As futures, I trade, of course, SPX does itself, but the future ES does not. But the SPX, the NDX, and the Russell themselves do, but I don't trade the futures of those, for the tax advantage. And believe me, what I think you're going to find, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about fees, but what's beautiful about the leverage that you get with trading bonds or trading the ES, you get so much leverage that how much you're paying within reason can be relatively minor in today's market. We're not in the old days of $50 and $100 per contract, which that can make it tough. No matter where you're trading, most major brokerages, you can get the fees down to, with this kind of leverage, it's really negligible.
Excellent. Another good question here, Mark. What knowledge level does someone need to be at in order to participate in this course?
Well, I think that, you can start out in futures. You can start out in stock options, from anywhere from beginner to advanced. I mean, I think it's important to know when you come to the class what a put and call is, that kind of thing, your basic options knowledge. If you just want to maybe get up to snuff a little bit on options, you can go over to the cmegroup.com, and there's some good educational sources just to maybe give you a little pre-course before, not really a course, but give you more information before you take the course with me. And I think you'll get even more out of the course there once you know a few of the terms.
Excellent. Do you know if options on futures are allowed in an IRA?
Not to my knowledge. I haven't tried it. I've only traded mine in a regular account.
Excellent. Albert S. would like to know, how liquid are futures options? Is the execution tick?
The bond options, I think.
The answer is very.
Yeah. Bond options, SB oil options, all those are very liquid.
Excellent. Wayne would like to know, do you do any trades in euro dollar interest rate futures and options?
I do not.
I guess.
You know what we're going to do here with this course? Once you understand different strategies, if you want to go out and research different futures, you'll have more tools. At least, you already know, okay, here's what I want to be able to do. Let me go find how liquid is this future. Can I do this? When's it trade? So you'll have the tools to go out and apply strategies I'll show you in different futures markets.
Guest 8178 said, can you also trade S&P Mini in the early hours before the open?
Yes, you can. That's one of the advantages of it, is it trades most hours of the day. It's one of the things I like about it.
Guest 3755 is a little concerned. They say, I know nothing about futures. How long of a learning curve would it be?
I didn't find futures, even when I first got into, before I was trading these strategies, I was doing commodity futures and different, and even bond futures way back 2002, 2003. And, you read up on it, you can get, and you already trade other instruments. It'll come to you pretty quick.
Excellent. Mark will be using Thinkorswim to put his live trades in for the futures trades. There was a couple of you who had asked that question. Do you focus on the 10-year or 30-year instrument? Mike B. would like to know.
30-year.
30 years. Fantastic. Paco, a little longer question. I guess my biggest struggles with futures is understanding contract size and expiration. Will that be covered, or should I have an understanding of that before attending? Also,
we'll talk about that.
Perfect.
We will definitely talk about that. You can also, like I said, look that up online, easy too. But we'll talk about that and its ramifications for sure.
Fantastic. And then, of course, Mark will be covering the pros and cons of trading index options versus options, future options as well. Guest 1477 says, do you need a futures account to attend the class?
You don't need it to attend the class. No, in fact, what Thinkorswim, I know you can, I believe, just paper trade it with the paper trade side of things, whether you have the futures clearance or account or not.
Excellent. Yes. All right. So let me go ahead and do that. Guest 1149 says, can you please go over the schedule? Yes. So let me bring up, this gives you a little bit more of a breakdown about what we're talking about right now. And then here's the format of the class. The class consists of 4 one-hour length sessions. Class meets every Wednesday and Friday for 2 weeks. Class starts Wednesday, September 23rd at 1 p.m. Central. I'm sorry.
Archive. If they can't make a class,
Oh, yeah.
what do they do?
Yeah, everything is recorded. Everything is archived. We will be using WebEx to actually do this class, so you will have access to streaming files. You will be able to download files. Any PowerPoints that Mark uses, you will have digital copies of those. And you're actually able to email questions even outside of the class in between the sessions. You can send questions in to Mark. He'll be happy to either address them individually or bring them as a collective back to the class. And of course, you can click right here to purchase the class for only $197. Mark, any other comments, sir?
No, I think it's going to be a fun class. We'll do some live trading together. I think you get a lot out of it.
Yes, for sure. Will the ONE support options on futures? It does not at the moment. OptionNet Explorer does not support futures trades at the moment. All right. What if you don't have Thinkorswim? Well, you can acquire Thinkorswim for free. There's a paper account that will take you 7 minutes to set up. So you can go to thinkorswim.com, sign up for a paper account, and you can actually trade along with Mark while you do this. I think you actually even get real-time data for a couple weeks. So you can get over that hurdle very easily.
And you don't need Thinkorswim to trade the methods I teach.
You do not. All right. If you have any other questions, feel free to send them in to us, info@sheridanmentoring.com. We'll be happy to talk to you as well over the phone. You can always call us at 800-288-9341. And like I said, if you have questions, we're here to answer them, so don't hesitate to give us a shout. See you in the futures class on Wednesday the 23rd. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.